Greetings, galactic comrades. It is I, Shambhala Mario, aka the Blu-ray Bodhisattva. I just wanted to make a quick video right now as we are getting ready to start Cancer season, also known as the summer solstice. Currently, the sun is still in Gemini at 29 degrees, 55 minutes. So in a matter of 4 to 5 hours, the sun is going to move out of Gemini and into Cancer at 0 degrees. And this particular solstice just feels very special. And I am overwhelmed with gratitude and a sense of serious determination moving forward. And the reason why is because reflecting back to how my life was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and on, I have accomplished very powerful, magical manifestations. Okay? A few years ago, in 2020, during the summer solstice, there was a world organized gathering of Satanists to increase more of that satanic power influence. And it just so happened that in 2020, the solstice was also around Father's Day. I felt the calling to go and drive into the mountains. I drove high into the mountains in Oregon, over in the Three Sisters Wilderness, the Three Sisters Mountain. And I wandered on the mountain and in the forest for about a week. And I went up there to raise my energy and raise my consciousness and do what I do. I don't know how to explain it to you, but work my magic in pushing out demonic energies, demonic forces, and also setting a lot of different intentions for my life. Because back in 2020 and in the years prior, I was going through a lot of different struggles, Some of you guys are new to my channel, to my page. Nobody really knows my story unless you've been with me for a long time. And, in my 20s, I went through a lot of different hard things. I was hit by cars, by motor vehicles while riding a bicycle 3 times within a span of 6 months. And those accidents really changed my life. They had a big impact on me. I had traumatic brain injuries, spinal injuries, and here I am, still standing, still strong, And then a couple years after getting hit by a car, I had a stroke. I had a fucking stroke. I had a full-on stroke. Having a stroke is nothing funny, but it was a real thing that happened. And, if it wasn't for my roommates that found me on the ground, on the floor in the living room, having a stroke, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know if I would have made it. It was very intense. I had a near-death experience. My near-death experience wasn't like other people who share and they talk about, they saw all these things and angels and stuff like that. Mine was like really like psychedelic, like as if I was on Bufo, just like all resonance and primordial sounds and geometric shapes forming based off of sounds. It was really, really weird. And when I was going through that stroke, I felt angels with me. I felt angels with me telling me, it's okay, this is necessary, it's okay. while I'm going through the most excruciating pain I've ever experienced in my entire life. Horrible, horrible pain. You know, so that was 2016 when I had the stroke, and that was around the same time Standing Rock was gaining in attention, and people were getting ready to go out to North Dakota to protect the water in Standing Rock. And I felt a very strong calling to go there. I would have gone there. And played my part over in Standing Rock, but the universe, God, my higher self had different plans for me. I was not my place to go. And so here I was experiencing these intense medical issues and starting to see doctors, neurologists, brain surgeons, all kinds of different doctors. And I'm telling them my story, I was hit by cars. Oh, this was my upbringing, because I had all kinds of questions trying to understand what about my lifestyle or history caused me to have a stroke. I know I'm kind of just telling a little bit of a story here, but without giving me a single blood test, no test at all, all these doctors, they wanted to diagnose me as bipolar with manic tendencies and possibly schizophrenic. I didn't, these were their diagnoses for me. And my neurologist, was just blaming it all to my traumatic brain injuries, getting hit by cars. And it didn't fit right with me, And I'm the kind of guy that's been against Western medicine, doctors, my whole life, but I had a fucking stroke. So I was scared, and things were beyond my control, beyond my understanding. So I was seeking help. And then for 2 whole years, I was going on misdiagnosed, going to all these doctor's appointments. I've had so many fucking MRIs and CT scans. Hold on. I had a lot of MRIs, but not within the 2 years. So it took 2 years of being misdiagnosed and on the wrong kinds of medication that was just fucking me up, fucking my mind up. Antipsychotics, antidepressants. They diagnosed me as bipolar and manically depressed when I wasn't. So all these meds, they mess with my body. I gained a bunch of weight, my hormones. I was like so confused in my identity, suicidal. For anybody that's had to be on these kinds of medications, you know what I'm talking about. This shit, it's an invasion. When you take those medicines, you open yourself to be invaded by bad frequencies. So and then it took 2 years for me to say the magic words to my neurologist to say, you know what, you're not getting any better and your condition seems to be getting worse. We're going to go ahead and give you an MRI. And that MRI revealed that I had 2 brain tumors, one directly center here in my pituitary gland, and one back here at the very tip of my spine, at the base of my skull, in this area called the clavis. I always mispronounce it, So it was in 2018 when I received the diagnosis, and through all these years, I went through a lot of weird fuckery, lot of weird fuckery, being targeted. There's a whole story. There's an episode in someone else's podcast of me telling more details of the weird fucking things I went through, but having dreams, being all kinds of shit, because I believe that all these different things were happening to me because, one, I needed to be activated and forged by fire, like folded steel, like a samurai sword, to come into my power and into my sovereignty and into my truth for the time we are in now. Because nobody foresaw any of this stuff happening in the way that it's happened prior to 2020. Everything just changed. And it was my whole life's experience and everything that I went through leading up to 2020 when things started to happen where I deeply understood this is not a drill. This is it. It is time to walk your path. It is time to embody everything that you fully believe in, because you are now being deployed by spirit to play your part in this spiritual war, in the spiritual holy war. And so after the solstice in 2020, and I came back from the mountain, and a big connection with a higher energy, and I was introduced to new guides, Mother Mary being one of them, new guides of feminine energy on my side. White Calf Buffalo Woman, Mary Magdalene, the Lady of the Lake. And they started helping me move into the next experiences that I needed to move through, which were very weird, that I'll tell in another video, another story. But anyways, 2020, after the solstice, I left everything behind. I left Oregon. I left an apartment. I left someone that I was in a relationship with for many years. It was not a good relationship. She was unfaithful to me while I was going through my medical issues. Had affairs with 3 people, and was just not the right person. But I have no malice towards her, because I understand the bigger karmic picture. It was all for me to realize, like, self-respect, boundaries, not putting up with shit, because I've been beaten down. I was beaten down and almost broken, from everything that I went through. Growing up and being born in a family where both my parents were drug addicts, crack cocaine, meth, in and out of jail, gangs, violence over and out in LA. I went through my own struggles with methamphetamines as a teenager in high school, for years, on meth. It's crazy. So I've been through some really dark trenches, okay? And it's really easy to give in to the dark side. It's really easy to just give up and close your heart, And so anyways, everything has just taught me how to be strong, how to be a warrior of the heart, because deep down there's an corporeal understanding that the things that are happening, it's a distortion innately within the human race, within the human being. There's a divine blueprint that does not operate like this. So there was a part of me that always understood that I can't really be angry or at anybody or anything, because it's not them that I'm against. It's something invisible. It's something that I can't see. And I've always known this as a child. But then as you grow up and become adults, you forget certain things and you become a product of your environment, Anyway, so going back to 2020, I left everything. I bought a van. I started traveling the country. I started going really deep within. I also stopped all my medical treatment for the tumors. I said, you know what? I'm seeing what's happening. I'm seeing this entity. I'm seeing the negative demonic forces that have beaten me into submission to consent to my current comfort of complacency right here and where I was in Tualatin, Oregon. There's a very strange entity that lives out there in Oregon, in the northern part of Oregon. And it tried to kill me, and it tried to keep me there for a long time. I couldn't escape. It was very, very strange. Anyways, so I just from living in a van, from almost dying, from getting hit by cars and brain tumors and everything, to being here now in my home with family, healing, growing, prospering. I can't tell you how many nights I had. I cannot tell you how many nights I had going to bed, praying and crying, not sure what the rest of my life was going to look like. Am I going to be permanently disabled? Am I going to die from this medical condition? How long do I have to be on these meds? When will I find a woman that is good, that is going to respect me and love me, but not only that, support me in becoming better and to reaching my potential and becoming better? All my desires, everything that I wanted when I was on the mountain during that solstice, my intentions throwing out into the universe. One of the things that I really wanted was to find the woman I'm going to marry, find the woman that I'm going to love and marry and have a life with. I have her. We're together. Other thing on the list, a home, a great home that we own, and we have our own water. We have that. We have our own groundwater here in an acre of land. And the other thing on the list, only making money by being myself. No more working for anybody, hiding who I am. I only attract wealth through being myself. I magnetize my wealth, my abundance, my success from being myself, And this all gradually happened over time with the intentions I put out there through prayer, through meditation, through having faith, even though when I was going through the hardest moments of my life. Because even when I was going through those hard moments, I never renounced my faith. I never said, fuck you, God, for putting me through all this. Why me? All this stuff. I mean, every once in a while, I'd cry, but I never renounced my faith. I always deeply believed and knew that all this was necessary, because that's what the angels told me. This was necessary. And then a couple years ago, I had the honor and privilege to connecting on a heart-to-heart basis with Clifford Mahudi. Most of you probably don't know who he is. He's an indigenous elder from the Zuni tribe that has passed away a little over a year ago, and I talked to him. I said, hey, brother, I need to tell you, I've gone through a lot of fucking things in my life, and I've been experiencing like these flashbacks where I'm dancing with other people, and I'm in a costume. I have a mask and I'm dancing, and I feel like it has to do with time travel or whatnot. And that's when he tells me, he's like, oh, you're a Kachina warrior. And he explains to me what that is. And I never really knew much about the Kachina warriors or that whole Hopi prophecy. I didn't know much about that. He breaks it down to me. And he's looking me in the eye, and I felt this container of love and light that he was encasing us in as he was delivering me things that I needed to hear. And he was telling me that, I'm Star Nation, I have a connection to star people, and that all those things that I went through wasn't evil. It wasn't entities, getting hit by cars, having stroke, tumors, all that stuff. What he told me was it was all my star family putting me through all those things, because I am a warrior of truth. I am a sword, a double-edged sword. And just like how you forge any strong double-edged sword, you beat the hell out of that steel. You put it into that fire, melting it down, folding it, hammering, hammering, hoping that it doesn't break and that it becomes something fortified and strong. I was crying. I was crying because I felt that this is the most real explanation to everything that I've gone through in my entire life was from this man. You know, there are a lot of mystical things in this world, and I'm not sure if we're all ever going to know the answers to anything before we die. We may get closer and closer and closer to the connection. And I'm not sure if it's our purpose to know all the things. I think we're just supposed to follow our call and move forward in the direction with the actions that we feel we are guided to do in this time, in this space. I feel so blessed. I feel so incredibly blessed. And now that I'm here, now that I've finally caught up to myself, and I'm safe, and I'm in my home, I'm healing from everything. I'm piecing myself back together, and I'm getting stronger. I'm getting my strength back. Because my work is not done. None of our work is done. So happy solstice, everybody. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in the higher powers. Spend the day today really loving yourself and being in gratitude. And for whatever things you got going on in your life that you are not happy with, any struggles, put that shit in prayer. Work it out in prayer and let it go and release it. And when you feel the activations, when you feel the calling, when you know you have to move and you have to dance, do it. Don't be afraid of not knowing where it's going to lead you. You have to trust in your magic. That's what I did. Now I have everything that I put in my magical intentions to manifest. Literally everything. And I'm just getting started. Peace.